Got a customer in for a front tire change. Now, the first step of this, we're going to go ahead and remove the caliper. You don't want to scratch somebody's rim. We loosen the axle, and then we loosen the pinch bolts. I loosen the axle bolt until it's on its last thread, and then just push it. You have ABS sensors or traction control sensors. It's always a good idea to go ahead and loosen those sensors up before you pull the wheel off, because you can damage either the ABS ring or the sensor itself. When you change a tire, you have a metal reusable valve stem. These things are trash. Replace it every time. Last thing you want is to have a flat tire over a valve stem. It costs $2. Just your air's out, you gotta break the bead. I always like to put the rotor down. Once you get it locked in the machine, swing the arm over and line that up, but you don't want it to actually rub the rim. Even though there's plastic guard there, you always use this to move it a little ways away. You got to keep the tire in the drop zone around it to be able to get it up and over. And see, this is where you could possibly hit your rotor and you could damage and bend it. You don't want to do that. When you go ahead and put your new valve stem in, if you forget, you can put it in later, but it's a lot more difficult. Slide it through, thread it in just a couple turns, and you're able to pry it right into place. First, you want to check direction, so there's always an arrow. Yamaha has a really fancy tire mounting glue. Goes on slippery, and then it dries up, so you don't have to worry about it being slick. Almost every tire, not every one, has a balance dot. You need to line it up with the valve stem. See how part of the tire is above this and part of the tire is below this. This is the way you have to have it to install the tire. You're going to put pressure on this side to keep it down. If you have an issue with getting your tire to bead, you can take your valve core out because it allows more air in at once with no valve core. And as you see, this rim already has weights on it. We need to get those off. We don't want to reuse those or leave those on there. There's no reason to. Non-marring tool, this is plastic. And once those are off, you're left with all that nasty glue. You can use something that's not going to damage the finish on the rim.
So that means you need 15 grams of weights?
Yes, sir. The machine actually tells you what spot to put them in. And that whole line lights up. And again, to verify that that was the correct amount. You never see any number other than 0 once your tire's balanced. Gotta get your wheel spacers in, get them lined up. Once you get your axle in, go ahead and put your nut back on. Nut, bolt, whatever your bike comes with. Tighten that up. Don't tighten all the way on every bike. Like this bike, it actually is gonna tighten up. Typically, until these are tightened, it won't. So you want to tighten the opposite side from wherever your nut or bolt is first. And then once you get that situated, you can actually torque your axle nut. Get these guys snugged up, pinch bolts. Make sure your pads are still separated. Don't pull your lever while your caliper's off, or else you're gonna have to pry your pads back out. I don't use this to torque things. I use it to make it easier to get things in and out. And then you go back and you use your torque stick. That's that, it's done. Make sure you check your brakes. Last thing you want is to roll off and not have any brakes. What do you guys want me to do next?